of the biggest acts in the world bow down to the country bears.
From blues to rock and roll, country. Everybody loves the Bears.
The reason I do what I do today is because of the Bears.
They were always fearless, you know, able to have fun, able to put smiles on people's faces.
Weighing in at an average of 800 pounds, the Country Bears were truly musical heavyweights. But for this band of simple bears, the weight of stardom was too much.
I don't make the same mistake for the same terrible. Do somebody.
It brought them down with a thud. Coming up, join us for the story of a band that fell apart under the pressure of superstardom and then came together for a triumphant reunion on the big screen. The Country Bears, Out of the Woods. From the beginning, the Country Bears had much more than the bare necessities for success. From their humble start as talent contest winners to their eventual superstardom, from their breakup to their triumphant reunion, the Country Bears never lost the respect and admiration of their millions of fans.
After the Prairie album, you started hearing people trying to copy that style, you know what I'm saying?
Their hits were as big as they were. Time after time, the Bears showed they were more than a buzzy novelty. In the mind-expanding 70s, the Bears joined the rock star pilgrimage to India, raising their consciousness and some eyebrows.
When other groups got their first course, I told them about it. Still about the car and stuff, and before I knew it, there they were.
I went to Georgetown long ago. Back went to India, of course. That was a disaster when Fred ate a cow. So that general lasted for about 4 weeks. But we came back with a new perspective, and the perspective was turkey instead of beef was better.
But no amount of Eastern philosophy could stop the reality of the Bears' spiraling problems. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And when the fall came for the Country Bears, it was devastating.
It's a stew that happens to you. All these different ingredients get thrown in there and they all get mixed up. Ego being probably the most contaminating factor of all of it.
On stage and off, the Country Bears were larger than life, with appetites to match.
Well, of course, success. Big venues, playing bars like Cincinnati and New York and gosh, what's that one in LA? The Forum, I don't remember what it is anymore. Those big venues make big appetite for excess. And of course, I indulge myself in excess.
Zeb was sidelined by what he called his sweet days, which cut more and more often into his performance with the group. Zeb's honey problems were putting the Country Bears in a sticky situation.
Start hitting the honey bottle, I can't monitor everybody 24 hours a day. And somebody has a love interest in there. Oh, I can't live without my sweetheart woman there.
She-bears were attracted to Tennessee like bees to honey. But he only had eyes for Trixie St. Clair.
Tennessee and I were, hanging out one night, and he looked at me and I looked at him and I knew. But he was the one. He was my soul pair.
She understood. She understood me. She was the only one who ever understood me.
Back then I wanted a career first. My career was the utmost importance.
Trixie, of course, was around. She was annoying, but she wasn't in every session, so you couldn't say she broke up the band.
And when Trixie left, she took Tennessee's will to play with her.
I couldn't bring myself to play or sing. Not without her, so I buried it all.
ego of the group's founder and creative genius, Ted Betterhead.
What an ego. Got a megalomaniac.
So Ted was very pushy in the studio, wanted to do everything by himself. Said he wrote all the songs, he didn't write all the songs. We all wrote all the songs, but Ted said he wrote all the songs. So there was nervous energy there when we wanted to hit him a lot.
By the end, it was band member against band member, even brother against brother, and the tension became, well, unbearable.
Well, you know he's my brother. It just irritates me.
My fist came in contact with Ted's face, and he went right over on his head there into the drum, and well, he was pretty sore after that.
To top it all off, the music business was changing. The group that had inspired so many musical trends was beginning to lose its edge.
The country was cool and all, but, you know, it was becoming the hip-hop generation. You know, people wanted the beat. The streets was popping, you know. So they just had to get a little more street, you know. That's all.
Soon, the Bears, who had been credited with influencing all the major rock and roll artists of our time, were broken up and down on their luck.
I learned a lot from these guys, and that was why I was so sad to see them break up.
Man, I hated to see that happen.
Bad investments and a rock and roll lifestyle left all of them penniless.
I lost everything. I don't have any money.
But in one of the most amazing rock and roll redemption stories of all time, the Bears were finally reunited. It wasn't long before Hollywood came knocking.
Originally, we were thinking we'd do a movie sort of like The Doors, and we'd just tell the story of this band, the rise and fall of this band. And in order to do that, we needed the rights to the band. And so that's originally how we met Henry.
The producers, they came to me and they said, we want to do this story. You know, we could have the rights, and I said, I don't think you have to ask me, but they wanted to pursue the true story, and that's refreshing, you know.
The Country Bears movie attempted to faithfully recreate the events that led to the reunion of the band, going so far as to cast Tennessee, Fred, Ted, and Zeb to play themselves.
I think it was important to use the real Bears because, I mean, you wouldn't want to get actors to play, you know, the Beatles in A Hard Day's Night or something like that. Using the real Bears in the movie was the authentic way to go.
We had a few boys come in and read for us. You know, Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, that Travolta fella. Nice guys. Good actors and all, but they just weren't big enough. I mean, size-wise, they weren't near big enough.
Newcomer Barry Barrington plays the Bears' #1 fan.
Between takes, we just all grab our instruments and start playing. We played everything, all the Bear stuff, and they told me a song by a group called the Eagles. And they're not even Eagles, they're humans.
The Bears found the actor's life much to their liking.
I'd like to do a movie with something like, or Halle Berry, Penelope Cruz, anything like that. That'd be fun. You know, or an action movie, Freeze, you know, something like that. That'd be pretty cute. Hey, come here, come on back here.
But old habits die hard, and Ted Betterhead was as controlling and stubborn as he'd been in his heyday as a rock and roll icon.
Ted's back in action, ready to roll.
We were all lined up for the first shot, the first day, and everybody's very excited. And Peter talked us through exactly what he was going to be doing, and cameras start rolling, sounds rolling, and before Peter can say action, Ted calls action. That was a very uncomfortable moment, I think, for everybody, because, you know, as actors, you want to know who is the leader.
I told them I don't do my own stunts. I told them.
Coming in, I heard stories about Ted. I knew the history of the band, and I knew that, you know, Ted is sometimes blamed for the breakup of the band, and that it might be a little uncomfortable.
I'm not saying I know more about making movies than Peter does. Can we get a stunt bear here? I really don't think I know everything about everything. I just got a few ideas, that's all. Not a fine ideas, if you ask me. Hey, could you do a better job on my hair here? What's your name?
Jenny, Ted.
Julie
Ego is spelled T-E-E.
If I'd seen a better place to put a camera that he might not have thought of, well, then he's pretty smart enough to pick up on my feelings. You take the actors, hey, you're not even listening. Oh, maybe you are. You think he was upset? I don't think so.
And Tennessee was as sensitive as ever.
Where do I stand? Sometimes directors projected like furniture. You can ask me to not away.
You know, I didn't understand exactly how kind of sensitive Tennessee was, so maybe I was a little tough on him.
Peter Hastings faced other cultural misunderstandings in dealing with the Country Bears.
And I guess it's like some faux pas in the barrel world to point your finger. You know, I'd always heard it wasn't polite to point, but I didn't know it would endanger you physically.
What are you, crazy, man? If Peter wants to work with the Bears, he's got to play with the Bears. Idiot.
I guess it's a bear thing.
And I figure if he doesn't pick those scabs, he'll get up real nice.
But in a moving testimony of the Bears' enduring influence in the music world, many of the greats of rock and roll agreed to appear in their biographic movie, more than a decade after the Country Bears had faded from the music scene.
I was amazed at how influential they really were as a band, but then also how willing people were to come and appear in the movie.
We had all these rock greats willing to appear in the film. If you ask me, I'd say it has to be with the food. Yep, they're great food here. They feed you 4, 5, 6 times a day.
As a fan of the Bears, to see them all together and playing themselves, it's kind of surreal, but I think it's really, I think it's great. It's really exciting for me. I mean, I took pictures of everybody. I was so geek.
I was really amazed at how well the Bears act and move. I'm having a good time. And, I'm looking forward to doing some more scenes.
This time around, the Bears aren't letting anything get in the way of their newfound success.
Oh, it's great, especially the way Tennessee come back. Oh, I love that. And that was just great. There's love, friendship, and it's wonderful.
I guess I never realized how magical that time was in our lives. I spent so long trying to forget, and it doesn't matter, you know. Like no time has passed at all.
I'm so glad for them. Because I know they've been through a whole lot with the whole breakup situation.
It was interesting to be back with everybody. Like a high school reunion. Without the cheerleaders, that is.
They're these legends, so, you know, yeah, I mean, hopefully I can have a career that's like halfway as, you know, long and enduring as theirs.
I feel that I'm better now. I feel I'm happy to be involved in any sort of project now that has the Country Bears logo on it, because that means I'll get paid, obviously.
Into every life, some rain must fall, and these Bears got wet and they got dry, and they're back. They will be around for a long time.